OBS, everything. Let's make this really quick. What did I say? Everything was amazing. Everything's been fun. The market is sideways to chop. Let's go ahead and start here with Snap. So Snap is starting to move. It is an inside month. Looking at the weekly, we're consolidating, and we are starting to push up from the trendy edge. Notice over here on the right-hand side on the weekly, this is all I'm looking for. Can we get above this 9 EMA here? And if we can get above the 9 EMA and hold above the 9 EMA, then we're looking for that setup that we call ACDC. Our next move is into 78, and then my target of 81 should get hit here. All right, so again, I'm concentrating on the monthly and the weekly with most of these swings. Let's go ahead and take a look at TRIP, TRIP. It's definitely just been hanging out. I swear it's like Groundhog Day. I think TRIP has literally been sitting at between like 0 to 40 cents this entire time. Um, Again, what's most important on TRIP is going to be the monthly chart. Just give it a second to load here. This morning, you can see here we're still underneath the cloud on the monthly. This really looks like a pretty chart for a breakout, at least into earnings. We have earnings coming up around November 4th after market. Again, this is what Thinkorswim says. Always double check it though. Once we break this cloud, we should see a really nice move here. Now, I haven't really laid into this position. I've added a couple times, but my cost basis on TRIP it's 303, and my options are trading at 259. I got the 36 in the money calls at the moment for 38 days out. Okay. All right. So the next one I'm going to take a look at here is going to be DO. Actually, let's look at Square. So we pushed up Square this afternoon, and it's just been hanging out. Man, it just keeps, up 7, back down to 4 or 5. So it's really trying to kill the premium. And this is the thing about options, right? This is one thing that I like to reiterate here in the room is that I feel as options are designed, right? They're designed to decay. We all know that. But also, if you're a trader who over allocates, it's designed to scare the hell out of you, right? You see your percentage, you see your losses, your unrealized losses, and it creates a fear in you that you would get out of the trade, but it has not broke your process, right? So a lot of times you'll find yourself getting out due to that percentage or that red or that loss, and then coming back finding out that that option would have made you good money, right? Now, I'm not saying if it breaks your process to keep holding on, but in the case that it does not, then I like to stick to process. Okay, so if we can stay above these levels, okay, for Square, you could see here on the week we're just on the inside. Okay, and this is why I bought the swing. All right, I bought the swing instead of weeklies here is because we could just be hanging out and making real tight price action here. So on your right hand side, notice that this candle is closing inside of this guy here. All right. And as long as we stay in here, this means even by Friday, this thing does not have to close over 238.40. But what is important here is we're making higher lows. And if we do stay inside, we could have a very nice pop next week into around 246 to 250. All right. So that's what I'm looking at there. On the left hand side, on the monthly chart for Square, it's just, it's staying above the cloud. It came and it tested the cloud. And honestly, from a bigger perspective, it looks really nice as long as it can hold above this cloud. Just like the ES futures, you could see that every time it's come into the cloud, it's moved up very nicely. Um, the initial rally started way back here in April, and it's pushed up very nice. So a little bit of consolidation is okay. So we may not get a big run out of it. They did have an overweight and a 300 price target this morning. Okay, so maybe give it a day or two and see if they want to run this thing hard. And if they do, like I said, we should see around 250. All right. All right, so next one here is DOCN, and then I'll go back and cover some of the ones I was talking about before, just in case you guys didn't hear me. Let's see. We are going to go to What's the next one on the list here? DOCN. This one, the threads are a bit wonky on it. I believe it's a newer issue. It's kind of flirting around with, +2 or so today. It's up 2%. I do believe this has a lot of potential here soon. We just need that breakout. And let me show you some extension targets. And I apologize. Thinkorswim is acting pretty slow this morning or this afternoon. All right, here we go. All right, this is what we're looking like on the month. All right, and so my projected move with Fibonacci extensions, we're looking at 96 by 100, which is, you got that round number, but look at this flag. Look at this beautiful inside and up. Look how it's just hanging out here at the trendy edge. Some traders like to put like some sort of shape on it if you like. You could cut it across here, across the trendy edge, and everyone's waiting for that move here. I don't like breakouts because a lot of them get squashed, especially in trades like this. But once we start holding above the trendy edge, let's go ahead and open this up a little bit so you can see it, 85.54. As long as we could stay above there, this thing's looking really nice for a breakout move here. Obviously, you could come in here and just set up and create an alert at or above that pivot high. So around 88.53. We'll go ahead and create one there. And then I want to be underneath. See these white dots here? I'm going to go underneath this first white dot. I'm going to create alert at or below. And honestly, as I said, this is where you live your life. You don't sit here and you stare at candles all day long. Just hang out, watch it for those alerts to go off. And if the top one goes off, that's a good thing, right? If the bottom one goes off, then it's like, oh man, I probably need to close my trade, take a loss or something like that. Okay? That's for me. All right, so that's DOCN. And let's go ahead and move down here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at, we looked at TRIP. Let's look at, let's go ahead and go back over the ES futures just really quick as we're down 7 points. And as I was saying earlier, this is a whippy market. So they're giving us and showing us anywhere from 6 to 12 points on either side. I say in the room, the futures have a tendency to show you the futures. They pull back and then they ripped a little bit later in the morning, and we may see the same thing here into close. I think a lot of traders are looking for some sort of move down or a big sell-off, what have you. We're going to go over those levels just one more time because I really need them to stick in your head, okay? It's important. That's why we do the trendy updates in the morning. These levels are for, they're highly probable. 43. So today's major levels were 43.32 and 43.69. We missed the 43.69 by about 5 points. That doesn't mean we were going for 43.69. That's where we expected price to resist. All right. And if you look over here on the day, this is your daily candle. We came up to about 65.66. Notice we came down to the trendy edge. I updated everybody yesterday, last night. And we're looking for a bounce, and that's what we got here. So nice move. Okay. Now we're just kind of hanging out, going sideways, and we're not going to see anything until we start to break above this cloud here. All right. That's the big thing, folks. You are opening up into resistance almost every single day, and we can't close above it. That's the issue. Now, if you're into news and you're into numbers and stuff, my thing is the bigger trend always prevails. The catalyst, the news, are something that helps move price in either direction of that overall trend. So if the overall trend is down, then the catalyst most likely pushes you in that direction into a bigger demand level, okay? Bigger, trendy level. So in the case that the market wants to pull even more, this ES to SPY relationship is about every 10 points in the ES gives you $1 in the SPY, okay? So down here, I bought butterflies to capture this on Friday, just in case. Because the overall trend right now is a little bearish. I say overall, I should say for the last several weeks, whereas the bigger trend is bullish. All right? But for right now, it just feels like a lot of traders want to see this level down here around 427. So I have butterflies to capture that, and those butterflies are like a really nice way to put on small risk, but a nice big return. Okay, so tomorrow I have calls just in case this thing wants to get cooking. Right, I'm a bull by heart, but I'm also protected on the bear side, capturing one of the trendy levels. Okay. All right. Let's go over Tesla one more time, see what it's doing. As I said, we closed here for about 80%. It's dropped ever since we started to close. And that's kind of what I expected. So what I did was bought, some debit spreads pretty far out of the money. I bought the 845s and sold the 850. It's just like a low probability trade. I'm trading very light this week, and that's my goal to myself. And I've asked my team to keep me in check, because it just feels like a choppy market, and it's real easy to get frustrated and to start buying too much stuff because you didn't do well. So just take it slow, one setup at a time. I was teaching everybody today how to use the indicators, and at the end of the day, all you need to do is just wait for that indicator to pop off, and then you take your trade. It tells you where you want to put your stop loss, where you want to go long or short. So these trendy scripts really help you guys out in a big way, and I'm sure you appreciate those levels, and I hope you're all doing well. Market's not easy, so let's talk about a little bit of psychology really quick. I think it's very important that everybody stay, grounded. Remember why you came and why you started to trade. All right. It amazes me that so many traders want to make millions, but they don't want to spend a couple thousand to learn. You ever think about that? Right? So you have to spend a little in order to get educated, whether that means you're buying books or you're signing up for a service or you're losing money, right? And journaling why you don't want to lose that money again. There's always some sort of um, money that's going to be spent. And I've always said this, if there's one thing that's certain in the market, it is you will lose money. Okay? You will lose money. I don't know a trader that doesn't lose money. All right. Now it's really easy to get out there on FinTwit and be fooled, because so many traders, all they do is just make money. That's all they do. Just make money. You know, I'll tell you the first things first. It's been a rough several weeks. It's not been an easy market. So, has there been some money made? Yes, but there's also been a lot of money lost. All right, and so during these times, what you do to get prepared for that next time is to journal the losses. What were you doing? Were you over trading? Were you pulling stops? Were you just like, F it, I don't care what happens anymore, I'm sick and tired? What were you doing during those times? And then figure out what is it that you were doing that was working. Maybe it was just watching. Maybe it wasn't participating when the market was choppy. How do you figure out if something's choppy? Take a pivot high and a pivot low. If it can't break either side, it's just choppy. Okay? And use like at least a daily or a 4 hour to figure that out. Okay? Day to day. Watch some Mark Douglas. Mark Douglas is my go-to, always has been, always will be. People ask, "Hey John, how many books have you read?" I didn't read any books. I read one a long time ago and it was on a fundamental thing, but it was more because I was a director for a company and I was managing businesses, right? I needed to understand all of that stuff. All right, but far as trading goes, all I need are levels and technicals. All right, and I need to be aware of what conditions are happening out there in the market. Like, you don't want to go into Tesla, tonight. If you're not into the gambling thing, you don't want to go into Tesla if they're reporting some sort of numbers tonight, unless you just want to go for it, right? So those are just kind of things you want to be aware of. Do they have earnings? Are there catalysts coming up? Is there FOMC and so forth? Tomorrow we have CPI, guys, and most likely CPI is going to come in hot. All right, if it comes in hot, then what moves when CPI is hot, right? It's good for commodities, banking, insurance, energy. XLE, oil. All those things have been on fire, you know. And I showed you guys today, you know, on oil. You know, I made it quick. What was it, active trader? Where we at? $660 on one contract, folks. Just taking the PMZ trade with a $50 risk. $50 risk for 660 is not bad. Depending on how you look at it, options trader would be like, oh man, look at me, I just made 1100% or something, right? Well, I mean, it's the same idea here. For 50 bucks, I made 660 just trading the PMZ. All right. It's not always that easy. Sometimes you get stopped out for 50 bucks. It happens, right? So I don't want to sit up here and blow smoke uh, up your butts, guys. So there's been some good trades here and there. Overall swings, you know, I came into the week letting everybody know that I might be closing all of my swings out and just starting from scratch. But, you know, they're not doing so bad. You know, they got a little bit of time on them. And, you know, I'm up pretty nice today. And, you know, the majority of my swings are anywhere from 14 to 40% down, somewhere in there with time. So for me, that's pretty. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, timing is the variable. I think things are looking okay. I'm not fully allocated as far as cash position compared to net liquidity. I'm probably only like 6%. Well, probably like more like 7% allocated. So I'm sitting on a lot of cash. I'm waiting for trend. I'm not biased to the downside, but I'm open to the downside. All right? But I got that cash ready just in case something happens. I mean, if it's more downside, I'm going to keep that cash and I'm going to wait for a big level and I'm going to allocate it when it's time. Until then, it's more about preserving that capital and waiting until we get above those clouds we talked about and start knocking the heck out of it and start making some good money. Now, I want to finish the year strong just like we came in. We've all been here together, right? We're here to push each other. We're a team. Only lift each other up. I love it and I respect every one of you. I love that it's quiet. I love that traders in here are patient. I love that we're not FOMOing traders. You know, I love that we are focused. So people are focused in here, and that's what's important. I can't tell you how many chat rooms you go to, and like you got a moderator that's doing something, but then you got like 50 other people that are talking about nonsense that has nothing to do with what's going on in the room. We don't do that here. So I really, really appreciate everyone's support. Let's keep it up. And we'll see you tonight in futures again. So if you guys remember, I'm going to do a workshop. I'm estimating about 2 weeks from now that we'll do a workshop. If you're interested, please email me, send me your email, and we'll get you set up for that workshop. You won't want to miss it. It really is straightforward. You don't have to make it complicated. And for you guys that might think that your account's not big enough, there's this thing called micro futures, and micro futures really help that smaller account trader, you know, big time. Okay, so and there's a lot of different platforms that that charge you a different amount of money. Thinkorswim's pretty expensive for most futures, but there are some stuff out there, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I really appreciate you guys. I hope you had a good day. I hope you were able to at least preserve some money or at least capitalize on some of those trades. I think going into tomorrow, very important to expect again choppy to sideways until we start to build over those clouds. Understand that CPI is out there. I would expect a temporary move. I do expect a little bit of volatility. And talking about volatility, let's go ahead and take a look at the VIX right before I shut down here and see what we got going on, where we're at. A lot of people, like I said, use numbers. I just use the trendy edge. If it's over the trendy edge, we know to be cautious. And I'm pretty sure we're pretty close to it. I think it's around 1989 or so for me. Give me 1 second. Hey, you're welcome, Jennifer. I hope you guys are doing all right. Let's see. Come on. Man, Thinkorswim is really acting up. What's going on here? All right, there's some trendy edges. All right, guys. So you can see over here this blue one. That's the big deal for me. We're under that. It's 1998. So as long as we're under 1998, I like that. I like that. So, but just know that we're getting also ready for a little bit of range after we get those CPI numbers. And again, I would expect the numbers to be hot. I would expect some volatility. So just be ready. Look at your shopping cart before you close out on the day, just like Amazon. Did you put too much in the shopping cart? Are you okay once all those show up at the door, right? Are you net long tonight? Are you going to need to hedge a little bit? Like, what do you want to do? That's up to you. Again, my allocation is where I'm comfortable, and we're doing pretty well. So this is actually one of my bigger days that I've had in a long time. So very exciting for me. And I just keep chipping away at nighttime, taking those future trades. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks again.